Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those of us joining for the first time, I'm responsible for identifying and analyzing digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine token prices and the market events that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, we wanted to share with you some notable price movements and what we think drove these moves. As a reminder, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. All right, guys, I'm sure you missed me for the last 2 weeks, but we're back at it with plenty going on. So we're going to jump right in and start with Axie Infinity. So there's been quite a, broad-based rally in crypto, and I'm going to try and touch on kind of some of the most important things, but obviously there are quite a few tokens up. To start though, play-to-earn blockchain game Axie Infinity announced last week a new breeding event where users can create rare summer skins within the next 50 days. So since that announcement, which was about last Thursday, the breeding of Axie NFTs has increased significantly. It's up about 4.8x over the previous week. And weekly revenue is also up 200%. Despite this, Axie is still has a long way to recover, with annualized revenues at 4.68 million today versus 300 million 6 months ago. So we will be watching that one closely to see if they can recover from a revenue perspective. All right, next up we have Gnosis. So Gnosis Safe, a multi-sig wallet that is part of Gnosis or created by Gnosis, announced earlier this week, a $100 million raise led by 1KX. So the Gnosis Safe was a product originally created by Prediction Market Gnosis, but recently it was voted for them to spin it out with the intention of launching its own token and DAO. Investors in the round included Tiger Global, A&T Capital, Blockchain Capital, Digital Currency Group, Greenfield One, Rockaway Blockchain Fund, Parify, Lightspeed, Polymorphic Capital, Superscript, and 50 others. I guess that's a lot of investors. Finally, they announced that they're going to actually be rebranding from Gnosis Safe to just Safe. So for those of you who maybe aren't as deep in the crypto weeds, Gnosis Safe is like a very well-used, broadly adopted multi-sig wallet. It's considered one of the gold standards for like really secure wallets. It means that it's being spun off from the original Gnosis DAO to have its own kind of product. And there are, as I mentioned earlier, there is in the intention of launching a token later this year, which is likely why all of these investors got involved. This will definitely be one to watch. Since Gnosis Safe itself does not have a token yet, we just talked about the Geno token in terms of price move, but the token is up 41% week over week. All right, next up we have Ethereum. So the big market news last week is that the ETH merge will officially take place roughly around September 19th. So the merge date is kind of a moving target. Could be a week earlier, could be a week later. But basically the ETH devs have said we're targeting end of September for the ETH merge. So this is huge news. So basically, for those of us who aren't familiar with the ETH merge, the merge is a combination of ETH 1.0, which is the current proof of work chain, and ETH 2.0, which is the proof of stake beacon chain that's been running for just under 2 years. It launched like last December 2020. And so basically, this is where both chains are going to merge, and Ethereum will officially transition to proof of stake from proof of work. So while both the chains are going to be combined, Ethereum staked on the beacon chain is still going to remain locked up for several more months until the next phase and the ETH 2.0 roadmap occurs where withdrawals will be allowed. This is considered a huge catalyst. Not only should it increase the scalability of the Ethereum chain and also usher in the next stage of the roadmap, which includes rollups, which are a scaling solution specific for Ethereum. It also means that, individual users can stake on the network and become validators and earn Ethereum inflation rewards and transaction fees directly. So really, big for Ethereum. If you haven't been following, Ethereum is up 44% on the week, which is a massive move for such a large cap token such as itself. I think it's trading up at around $1,500 now, when last week it was trading at a low of about 1,000. So really huge move. So related to the ETH merge, and last but not least in today's lineup, we have Lido token, or the Lido DAO token. So Lido So basically, Lido is very, I guess, related to Ethereum in the merge. So with the date of the merge set, Lido is potentially set to see its primary liquid staking asset staked ETH unlocked in the following months. So in addition, as the proof of work version of Ethereum is phased out, there may be more users who wish to stake their ETH on the new POS chain to validate the network, which will increase TVL on Lido. Following the news of the merge, Lido also announced that it would be releasing support for wrapped staked ETH on layer 2s, which means just more usability and adoption for staked ETH. And then it was also looking to perform a treasury sale of its tokens, raising around $30 million. All very positive news for Lido. At one point this week, it was actually up almost 150%. It's now up 83% on the week. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific to hear what's driving token prices.